Uh, we are gradually getting closer and closer to our final page. All right, so next up, what we want to do is go ahead and add another HR element between the main element and the footer element. So let's go to the main element. So this is where the main element ends, and this is the footer element. So we just want to add another HR element. Once again, HR is a self-closing tag. So we add it, and here we have our line, okay? All right, so in this step, we want to create a little room around the menu. So we want to add a space of 20 pixels of space on the inside of the body. Okay, so let's say padding, and let's say 20 pixels. Okay, so we've added, let me clean it up and you see the difference. Okay, so you see we want a little bit of space around the edges, okay, like we have here. Okay, all right, and the way we do that is by adding the padding. Okay, all right. Okay, next up, focusing on the menu items and prices, there is a fairly large gap between each line. So when we look at our final page, you see the gap between the items are not as large as we currently have here. So we want to deal with that. So the way we're going to do that is by targeting all P elements nested within elements with a class named item. Okay, so we already have that here. So every P element that is in an element with a class item, we want it to have a margin top and bottom of 5 pixels. Okay, so we just say margin top 5 pixels. Okay, and we'll also say margin button 5 pixels. So that will just reduce it a little bit. Yeah, because the default values are obviously more than 5 pixels. That's why we had to reduce it to a lesser number, in this case 5 pixels. Now it's looking really good. I think our page is looking really good now. All right, so step 74, using the same style selector in the previous step, make the font size of the items and prices larger by using a value of 18 pixels. Okay, so we want to make these text of a relatively larger font size. So we just say font size, and we'll give it a value of 18 pixels. Yeah. All right, so change the margin button to 5 pixels. Changing the margin button to 5 pixels looks great. However, now the space between cinnamon roll menu item and the second HR element does not match the space between the top HR element and the coffee heading. Okay, so we're talking about this space here. Okay, so the space between this cinnamon roll and this bar here seems to be relatively lesser than the space between here. So the way we want to deal with it is to create a class named bottom line, and so to do that, we know we have to use the dots. So dots, and want to call the class bottom line, and want to add a margin top property of 25 pixels. Okay, but as you can see, nothing changes. So before we continue, I want you to pause the video and try and answer this question. Why is it that we've added a class of bottom line here and we're giving it a margin top of 25 pixels? So we expect the space here to be a bit larger, but why is it still the same? Okay, pause the video and try and answer that question before you move on. Okay, so let's continue. Alright, so in the previous lesson, I asked you to pause the video and try and answer why we've added the style margin top, but the space between cinnamon roll and a bar didn't change. And that's because in our HTML, we haven't added the class yet. So for the styles to be applied, we need to add a class here. Okay, and the name of the class is going to be bottom line. Okay, now once we do that, as you can see, the space is a bit bigger than we had it before. All right. Okay, so next you're going to be styling the footer element. Okay, and to keep the CSS organized, add a comment at the end of styles.css with the text footer. Okay, so if you remember, the way we add comments in CSS is to use a /. So usually the way I like to write it is to write / like so, and then write your star like so, right? Okay, so let me clean it and do it again. So /, another /, and then in between you have 2 stars. Okay, all right, so want to add a text footer. Now this is not going to affect your code in any way, and the reason why we are adding this is just to keep our code more organized. Okay, so for example, if another developer takes a look at your code, they will know that, oh, so if I want to find the styles for the footer is below this one, so everything below here will be styles for the footer, right? Just to keep our code organized, that's all. All right, next up, we want to make all text have a value of 14 pixels. Okay, so the way we do that is, let me show you. All right, so okay, so here's our footer, right? Here's our footer, and we want all the text in our footer to have this font size of 14 pixels, right? So the way we can do that is to write footer, okay, and bring space and then P. So what this tells our browser is that it says go into our HTML, look for the footer element, and when you have seen the footer element, look for all the P elements inside the footer element and then apply these styles to it. So in this case, the style I want to apply is font size of 14 pixels. Okay, and as you can see, our footer is nicely styled. Okay, oh wait, sorry. So now we just need to do a footer. We don't need this actually, so we just need a footer, only a footer. Yeah, sorry for that, for confusing you. So you just need a footer, and that should work. Let's try it. Yeah. So this tells the browser that go into the footer, and everything that is in the footer, every text that is in the footer, just add a font size of 14 pixels. Yeah, we don't need to specify that it should look for the paragraphs, just everything that is in the footer. Okay, now the default color of a link that has not yet been clicked on is typically blue. The default color of a link that has been clicked or that has already been visited from a page is typically purple. Okay, so if you look at this has a default color of purple, but we can choose to add our own colors to it. So the way we do that, to make the footer links the same color regardless if a link has been visited or not, use a type selector for the anchor element. So in this case, we'll say A, which stands for the anchor element or the link, and use the value black for the color property. So we'll say black. And as you can see, the link now changes from the previous purple color to this black color here. All right, so in this last video, in this last step in this video, we want to learn about pseudo-selectors. So you can change the properties of a link when the link has actually been visited by using a pseudo-selector that looks like this. So you select a tag like so, and you bring a colon and you say visited. So now, and you bring your curly braces. What is happening here is that we want to select the a tag and apply some styles on it, but we want to apply that styles only when that link has been visited. Okay, so in a situation where the user opens our web page and hasn't yet clicked on that link or visited that link will have a certain color, let's say black, but when he or she or when they visit the link, then we want our link to have a certain color. Okay, so in this case, when the link has been visited, the color we want it to have is gray. Okay, all right, now like so, great. So that is it for this video, and we've really come a long way. So if you've come this far, yeah, you should be proud of yourself. Congratulations. But let's wrap it up in the next video. See you in the next one.